everyone, it's Jen with Housewives of Riverton, and I'm so excited to be here with you today. I am going to show you how to make this cute mug. I shared this on our Instagram stories. We got a lot of people asking if this project was in Design Space, where they could find it. So I'm going to walk you through how to find this project in Design Space and show you how to make one. It is so quick and easy. You're going to be wanting to make mugs all the time now. In order to make this project, you are going to need to have the following supplies. You're going to need a Cricut machine. Now this, because we're using vinyl, for this project, you can use the Maker, you can use the Explorer Air, the Explorer Air 2, any of the Explorer machines. You can also, if this is after March 1st when you're seeing this and you have your hands on the Cricut Joy, you can even use the Cricut Joy to make this project. The image for this project, I'm gonna size it about, it's like under 3 inches, and then it ends up being just under 4 inches wide. So that's why it's a perfect project for using with the Cricut Joy. It's also a perfect project for using up some scraps that you might have lying around. So you're going to need a blank mug. I found these, it's been a while ago, but I found them at the Target. I don't think they call it the dollar spot anymore, but you know, that little front part of the Target store. And if you don't find any there, I know they have ones very similar on like Amazon and places like that. You're going to need a mat, your Cricut mat. I like the blue mat. I use it for almost everything with my crafting. It's very rare that I reach for a standard grip. And usually when I do, it's because I've used it quite a bit and it's about the stickiness of a blue light grip mat. I always keep a True Control knife on hand, and so I always have that around. You're gonna want a pair of scissors. You are going to need a scraping tool. This is the extra large scraper. You can use any of the smaller ones as well. If you don't have a scraping tool, you can also use like a credit card. I've seen people use the back of spoons. There's lots of options if you don't have the scraping tool. You are going to need a weeding tool. You're going to need some transfer tape, and you're going to need vinyl. So I am using the Cricut Gray Grid Standard Grip Transfer Tape. And I'm just using a scrap that I have of my Cricut Premium Vinyl Permanent is the way, if you're searching for it, that's the name. You can just call it Permanent Vinyl or Premium Vinyl. Just make sure that you're picking permanent, not removable. The other thing that you want to make sure that you have on hand that I don't have here on the table with me is rubbing alcohol. You want to make sure and clean your surface really well and then wipe it down with rubbing alcohol. That will just help make sure that there's no like debris or anything on it, which will help you get a really good adherence. So let's jump into Design Space and I'll show you where you can find this image.
Okay, so here we are in Design Space. This is just your projects page. I'm going to go ahead over here on the left-hand side and click on images. So once I click on that, it's just going to open it into all of just the regular images that are there right now. I am going to search Rad and Happy. So as I click that, you'll see it brings up some super cute images. She has a lot of really cute images here in Design Space. This little one of cactuses is one of my favorites. I also really love this. Don't rush me, I'm waiting for the last minute. And I also think this cute little good morning would be really cute on a mug or a thermos or something like that. But we're gonna go ahead and use the I stay up late every night and regret it every morning image. So I'm gonna click on that, and then I'm gonna come down here and I'm gonna click insert image. So then that's going to load it here onto my canvas, and I'm going to resize this. I know that I need it to be under 3 inches tall. So I'm going to resize it down to 2.75 inches. I'm leaving it locked here, which will resize the whole thing. So then once I click, it is, no, I did not. So here, let me do that again. 2.75, and then enter, and that's going to resize it. So that gets it under 4 inches wide and under 3 inches tall. So now that I've got my size all set, I'm going to go ahead and click over here to make it. And it is going to show me my mats. Now, because I am using the regular premium vinyl permanent, I do not need to worry about mirroring my image. So I'm going to just keep it as it is, and I'm going to come here and I'm going to select continue. Then it's going to connect to my machine. I'm collecting via Bluetooth, so it takes it just a second sometimes to talk to it. There we go, we're connected. Now I'm going to select my material. I always recommend that you test cut first. I have heard way too many people who have wasted entire sheets of vinyl, and it makes me so sad for them. Vinyl, iron-on, whatever it is. And I'm always so sad for them. So what you want to do is test, like just a small little circle, a little square, something on the material, and then that will help you get the right settings. So I have tested my machine. What I have learned for my machine personally, make sure you test, this may work for you. For the premium vinyl permanent, Cricut premium vinyl permanent, I always use the chalkboard vinyl setting. I just find that I get a really nice clean cut. So I am going to go ahead and select that. I also, with the current blade that's in my machine and this machine, I like to up the pressure to more. So I'm going to go ahead and do those things. Then I'm going to come down here. It tells you the next steps. You want to load tools and materials. So on my machine right now, my little arrow is flashing. So I'm going to go ahead and load my mat. And then once I have that loaded, we are going to get the next prompt. So typically I am the first person to tell you if fast mode is an option to use fast mode. Because I resized this image smaller, I am not going to use fast mode because they're like the dots to the eyes and things are pretty small. So I don't want to run the risk of losing those. So I'm not going to select fast mode for this project. Then we just have to jump over to the computer and press the C, or not the computer, jump over to my Cricut, do my maker, press the C, and we'll get to cutting.
Okay, before I start weeding, I want to show you a couple of things that I am choosing to not worry about weeding. So we've got our dot to our eye here. We've got a dot to our eye here. We've got a dot to our eye here. Let me see if I can get in there so you can see how tiny those are. So the reason that I am not worrying about trying to keep those is, one, I don't really think you lose anything on the image by those not being there, but also there is such a tiny amount of adhesive on there that it's not likely to stay on through washing. If you were putting this on a sign or if you were making it any larger, I think it would be great. But because of how tiny it is, I'm not going to worry about it, because once it gets washed, there's just not enough adhesive to help it stay in place. And then once you wash it, you're gonna lose it anyway, so why stress about weeding it out? Okay, now for the weeding portion. I'm a scrap keeper. I love to keep my scraps. So I'm actually using my True Control knife, and I'm actually just going to lightly just cut through right here. So then that way I'm not going to waste this piece that I have over here. For small things like this, things with like little letters and stuff, I really like to leave my vinyl on the mat. For me, that's just a little bit easier. So I am using this weeding tool. This one is in the weeding toolkit, and it has this extra little hook on the end. It is my favorite because that little hook really helps get into the little letters and things like that, which is one of the reasons that I love it. Now, people have different ways that they love to weed, and it is completely up to you which way you want to do it. Typically, I am a hook the outside, pull the entire outside out. There are a couple of pieces that I am going to use my weeding tool for to just move, and then I can just stick them to the vinyl. So I'm going to get rid of those little dots because I don't want to have to worry about those sticking somewhere where I don't want them. And then I am going to, there's another one, I forgot about that one. I'm just gonna get those all pushed out of the way, and then we can start getting like the insides of the E's and things like that. So I'm just gonna stick them over here to the side, trying to make sure that I get inside each one, and that'll just make it easier. Then I just have to pull the outer weeded all at once. So are you one of those people that loves weeding? It's such a funny thing. People seem to either absolutely love it or hate it. I actually don't mind it, especially if I have good light. I love using the bright pad if I'm doing any crafting and stuff in either darker rooms or maybe later in the day. But for this, I feel like I can see it pretty well and not need to worry about taking it off. So one of the things I like about the way that I'm doing this is that once I pull the outside out, then I'll be able to lay my transfer tape right over the top of it. Okay, we've got an inside to this R here. And I think that's everything. So now I'm going to use the little corner of my tool and I'm just going to pick that up. Now you just want to go nice and slow since we're dealing with some thin lines with these letters. You want to go nice and slow and just make sure nothing is lifting that you don't want lifting. So like right here, we've got a little spot. Just don't worry about going too fast. Then you don't have to worry about accidentally tearing any of your letters or anything. Looks like I forgot one inside right here on an R. So we'll go ahead and get that off. Oh, see, I sped up too much, so I'm losing my eye here. We'll just go ahead and get that stuck down. And just put it right back in place. We're almost done here. Stick that down. Make sure that I'm not losing any more of my letters. Okay, so I've got everything down where it needs to be. I am gonna go ahead, I can see where this eye was originally before it stuck to the back of my vinyl there. So I'm just gonna push that right back into place. So now, see how easy that was? Like just being able to stick all of the things here. So now I have it all weeded and everything is ready to go. So now for the next part, I'm going to trim up a piece of transfer tape, just the size that I need it for my image. So we're gonna come all the way to about here. And let's see how tall we need it to be. And to right there. So we're gonna get that trimmed. We get a lot of questions about transfer tape. I see so many people having problems with transfer tape and it always makes me so sad because I don't know why that happens. I have never had a problem. I believe like 99% of my experience with vinyl has been Cricut vinyl. So I haven't used a lot of other brands and I have always just used the gray grid transfer tape and I have never had a problem with my vinyl not releasing. I have definitely had a problem when one time I accidentally used the purple grid strong grip transfer tape. That wasn't a fun situation. Okay, so now we're here. I have my transfer tape on, so I don't have to worry about any of these letters popping up or anything. So now I can just remove my vinyl from my mat. Get that out of the way. Now I can trim off my extra piece of vinyl. So now I've got another nice little scrap. Like, look, I could almost cut this same image again. I could definitely cut that cute little good morning image that we saw. So now I have this. I am a true believer in flipping over your vinyl and then using your scraper to push the vinyl onto the transfer tape. So we are just going to get that pushed on really well. And then I've got my mug here. So the things you need to decide about your mug is, I'm right-handed. If I put it on this side, then the image faces me, which is perfectly fine. If I put it on this side, then when I'm holding the mug, then the image faces out, which just makes it a little bit fun. It's not a requirement. You can do it however you want. There is no rule anywhere that says you have to do it a certain way. So I have this is my mug. I already wiped it off. I should have done it here on the video, but you should always, on any type of glass or a surface like this, you want to use an alcohol wipe or some rubbing alcohol and just clean that really well. It will really help your vinyl stick well. gonna go ahead and set my little scraper there. And now I am going to remove my vinyl from the transfer tape. So I'm just gonna flip that over. Again, you don't wanna like speed through, but see, like, look right there, I've got an E that didn't stick to my vinyl or to my transfer tape. So I'm gonna go ahead and just go nice and slow, making sure everything is sticking. Looks like that letter is wanting to lift up. So I'm gonna just go ahead and use my other little scraper over here and get that pushed down really well. And I've heard a lot of fun different ways that people like to hold their like mugs and stuff in place, that they really like. I've heard people use socks. I've heard people use the base of their Easy Press. Just different things that they like to do. I also heard a great suggestion once, and that's what I just did here, about when you're peeling off your backing, to peel it the opposite way of the openings of the letters, and then that helps them stay down. So if you're finding like that a letter is lifting in one direction, then you can definitely try like going from the other side. All right, now there are a few different ways that you can go about laying your vinyl out. I am an eyeballer. I just really like to look at it and then be like, okay, that looks good to me. That's how I do 99% of my crafting. There's the hinge method, and I will show you that with like a little bit bigger of a project. I don't feel like it's really needed with this one, but I'm just going to. And then the other thing about this is, because it's like on this curved surface, I don't need to worry about like, it needs to be exactly 2 inches on this side and 2 inches on that side. So I don't have to worry about like measuring it out. The hinge method is really great when you're having to do things like that. All right, so I think I like it right there. So I'm gonna just curve it a little bit, and I'm going to tack it down just along the middle. And then look at how it looks. So if I hold it out, I feel like I'm going up a little bit here on the right side. So I'm gonna just adjust that a little bit. And then I'm just gonna slowly roll out one side and then slowly roll out the other. And then I'm just going to use my thumb. I'm gonna push it down really well. And then I'm also going to use my scraper here and just push it on. You just want to make sure that you're burnishing it on really, really well. This cup makes a lovely noise while you're doing it. Okay, and then we're going to start here on the upper corner. And again, just go nice and slow, making sure that your vinyl is sticking down. I like to fold it over flat and just peel back slowly. That will just help you see if anything is lifting anywhere. Take it at a 90-degree angle if you can, or just add an angle. I guess I don't really know if I'm doing it at a 90-degree angle. You just want to roll it slowly. And if you don't do it like just straight coming from this way, then you don't have to worry about it like putting a lot of stress on just one part of the letter. All right, we got it almost all the way done. And there we go. So now we've got our cute mug. It is completely done. Because this is the premium permanent vinyl, you want to make sure and not handle it a lot before you wash it. It needs to cure for 24 to 48 hours. So doesn't that look so cute? Okay, I hope that was so fun for you. I am so excited. So this was the mug that I made before. This is the example one that we had. So as you can see, when I hold it in my hand, the image faces me. For this mug, I turned it around so when I'm holding it, being right-handed, it faces out and everybody can maybe see that I'm a little bit extra tired today. This is such a fun project. I love that it's included with your Cricut Access subscription. I did want to share one more thing that we often got questions about transfer tape and whether or not you could reuse it. You can 100% reuse your transfer tape. I have used transfer tape over and over again, and it's awesome. So I just like to keep the backer that it was on and then stick it back down on that, and you're good to go. Just stick it with your scraps and you've got that to use again. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope that if you make a mug similar to this or you use our tutorial to make a different one, that you'll come back and tell us. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask them. We will come back and we will answer them in the comments. Thanks so much, everyone. Have a great day. Bye.